we who come into this world have all come in with a purpose, and that purpose is to truly know ourselves and know God. Right now, we might live in darkness, but there's spiritual light within ourselves that can be experienced by us. When we read the writings of the great saints and mystics, each and every one of the faiths is full of experiences after experience of the divine. Experiences of what is called the flight of the soul, or revelations of consciousness, or being able to rise into the regions beyond, or being able to experience what is called the true primal manifestations of God, that being the divine light and divine sound of God. And all the saints talk about this journey being a journey of love. As we go on the spiritual journey, the awareness of who we are sets in more and more, because right now our soul has been covered by 4 layers. Our physical body, which we see, which we feel, which is made of matter. There's an astral body, there's a causal body, there's a supercausal body, which are covering our soul. And as we go on the spiritual journey, we're able to peel off each one of these so that we experience ourselves more and more of who we are. And as we reach the region of all truth, of the region of all consciousness, then we are in our original state as being purely conscious. And that is where we find our merger in God. And as these layers are peeled off, the clarity of who we are sets in. And as the clarity of who we are sets in, the joy and the happiness start to ooze out of every part of our being, because as we realize that we are a part of God, as we realize the hand of the Lord helping and supporting us, as we realize the stability that we have around us, we are totally fulfilled. Generally, in the jungle of life, we're trying our best to get someplace. And so we do our best. And it's as if we are hitting ourselves in a mudslide. When you are in a mudslide, the more you try to get out of it, the deeper you get into it. The same thing happens with us. In this world of Maya or illusion, the more we try to get something of this world, the more we entangle ourselves in this world. But if we find someone who's on stable ground, and they give us a hand or give us a stick to hold on, then they can pull us out. So as we go within, we find the stable hand of God. We realize that God is there, and as we realize that God is there, and as we realize the support of the Lord, then we are uplifted from the physical to the divine. And the stability of being with God makes us pass through this life very, very easily. So clarity of vision comes in as we experience ourselves at the level of our spirit. If we spend all of our life just thinking that I'm a physical being, then we'll take care only of the physical body. If we realize that this physical body has been given to us just as a vehicle for us to get to our goal, but our true self is the soul, then we'll do those things which help our soul. So what helps our soul? To get closer to God, to be nourished on the divine. And what nourishes our soul is not the foods of this world, but it's what is called the holy word, or the Naam, or the Shabd, or the divine light and sound of God. These are names given to the creative power which brought all creation into being. We can connect with the creative power. And that is the power of the light and sound of God. We can call it by different names. And to connect with it, we've all been given a gateway. Between and behind the 2 eyebrows, there is what is called the single or the third eye. It's called the Divya Chakshu in the East. It's called the Dasmadwar in the Sikh tradition. It has different names. Seat of the soul, the spiritual eye. It has different names in different languages. As we collect our sensory currents here, those currents through which our attention is going out in the world, and as we withdraw them, and we can withdraw them by finding a quiet place, by sitting down by ourselves, by closing our eyes, not changing the atmosphere, keeping the atmosphere calm and quiet. So a sense of sight, hearing, smell, taste and touch can all be withdrawn. As definitely not going to eat as we sit down in silence. And we close our eyes, It's very easy to withdraw those sensory currents. And as they withdraw, they collect from the bottom of the feet, they start to collect here. So in the techniques taught in the Santma tradition, we focus all our attention here. And we don't worry about what is happening below this point. Just like all day long, when we are into one activity or another, we're not worried how our heart is beating, we're not worried about the circulation of the blood, we're not worried how those breaths are coming, they keep on going on. So we let that function happen normally, we don't change that. Instead, we focus on our attention which is going outside and keep it all here and let the body function normally. Now when we do that, as we close our eyes, what happens is, as soon as we do that, we are bombarded by thoughts. And so a thought is a distraction. It will take our attention, it will put it into the thought, we won't be able to go on the spiritual journey. So we do a mental repetition of God's name. As we repeat God's name mentally, then our mind gets occupied in that repetition and thus has no energy to send thoughts to us. And it is in that situation where the body is still and the mind is not sending thoughts to us that we connect with the divine power within. We experience in the beginning flashes of light. It could be circles of light, light seems to come and go, and the light is of various colors. It could be golden, could be red, blue, green, yellow, orange, or something else. And then with time, the light stabilizes. So what actually is happening? The light of God is within each and every one of us. When we concentrate, we experience the light. When we are distracted, we experience darkness. So with time, as the concentration improves more and more and more, we see the light more and more and more. It seems like they've stabilized for us. And then we go beyond the lights to sky full of stars, in a moon, in a sun, and many, many other vistas within. And when we are experiencing these, the joy that comes to us is not limited to the time that we sit and meditate, but it lingers on with us. The sweetness of being with the divine power, the fulfillment of being with the power such that it lingers on much, much more afterwards also. And the vision by which we are passing through life gets more and more clarified because we realize that our existence is at the level of our soul. And so then we start to do those things which are going to be beneficial for our soul. And as we do that, we'll find that we then are getting closer and closer to our goals, which are to truly know ourselves, which is what self-realization is all about, and to know God, which is what God-realization is all about. Now, each and every one of us has a birthright to know God. We all can know God because we are children of God. And then God has given in each and every human frame this gateway so we can rise above physical body consciousness and experience the divine. It is for us to make use of it. And if we are sick and we go to a doctor and the doctor gives us medicine, but we come home and put it in the cupboard, never use it, our illness won't go away. And so when God gave us this opportunity, out of billions and billions and billions of living forms, there are only 6 billion human beings. And in each human being, there's this faculty of discriminating between the truth and untruth, of knowing the truth so that we can use it. And that faculty has been given. So we've all been given the spiritual eye. Those who use it are the ones who get to their goals, and those who don't use it and pass through life without even thinking about it, they go back on the wheel of transmigration. It is my prayer to God Almighty to have a passion within us be ignited so that we experience the truth, so that there's clarity in our vision within, so that the purpose for which we came into this world, which is to know ourselves and know God, would be fulfilled.